So once I parked my car, got out, saw Mike Sullivan, our photographer, we met up and we just started running down the college road past the police barricade, because at that time they were too frazzled to keep two journalists from sneaking by them. So we ran down, and it's about a quarter mile until you get to the campus. And we just kept running and running, and police vehicles were zipping by, ambulances were zipping by. And I think for the both of us, it didn't really sink in until we saw ambulances speeding away from campus, which is pretty much the time we knew what was happening. That's kind of the first time it clicked for me. And so once we arrived on campus, you could see both sides of the road were lined with probably about 30 police vehicles each, from Roseburg Police, Douglas County Sheriff, Oregon State Police, and fire utility vehicles. They were all there. So we're running by them, and we get onto campus, and right at campus there's this big front lawn area. And as soon as we come around the corner, you can see all of the students, all of the faculty, and all of the police officers just kind of gathered on this front lawn. And when you look around, I mean, the students some are crying, some are hugging, some are just standing there, some are laughing. Like, it's just this weird, eerie place to come in. And that's when, we kind of started. There were still escorting bodies into ambulances at that point. We were still, they were still ushering people off of campus. They were interviewing students. There were lines of students kind of waiting to come into that front lawn area that were being searched by police, just to make sure that they weren't carrying anything or had anything. And no one really knew anything. I was walking around asking people, like, what happened? Like, I don't know. Do you know how many people are died? Like, are you okay? And so many people just had no clue what was happening. And so from then, I just kept on interviewing people as best I could until my phone died. So the only official that contacted me while I was on scene was actually while we were running down College Road to get to campus. And it was a fire official who I work with really closely as my public safety job. And he pulled over to the side of the road, and he kind of said, up at the top, they're blocking people off. No one can come in. You're not supposed to be here. And then kind of smiled at me and said, I've done my part, and drove away. And I knew that to mean, don't piss anyone off, tread lightly, but I'm not going to kick you out. So after Mike and I kind of looked at each other, I was like, what should we do? We kept walking to campus, just knowing that we had to tread lightly, which is something we intended to do. If he hadn't have known us, he knew who we were, and so he said, I know these guys, they're not going to be, I know where they work, I know where they live in the community, so I'm sure that helped tremendously.